Okay, so this is part 3 of the Ottoman and Habsburg border skirmish or frontier battle. Actually, no, not Habsburg. These are Transylvanian, Hungarian Transylvanians. But so now the Hungarians finally managed to win their initiative, some of their initiative rolls. So I'm over here on the right flank and gonna go ahead and have them move up. And I think, we've got Haijuks. They're not really bound to strict movement, and they can move 2. So they're going to move 12, this little unit of skirmish. Actually, yeah, you know what? We're just going to go with it. And I should have moved them in here into the forest, but and now this is going to give the Ottoman musketeers opportunity to do some opportunity fire. So let's see if they can pass their check. What is this? Sekbon have a B morale, so they're gonna need a 4 or better, and it's kind of cocked. So let's go ahead and roll that again. Okay, yep, 4. So they're gonna go ahead and fire 4 shots, and I think they're at 12, about 12, we'll call it that. So they do get a bonus dice, so they're gonna roll 5 shots. No hits, so I'll just say the Haijuks were able to kind of move carefully. But then the mounted ones, I think they're gonna come up behind. You know what? I think the mounted Haijuks. Yeah, I think because I'm going to say that they can kind of move more freely. They're not bound to like a tight formation. So I think what they're going to do is they are going to, since we've got this Ottoman cavalry here, I think they can try and trap them, so, or at least pin them with fire. So I think they're gonna just kind of go like that. They're not gonna try and get into the forest. Yeah, I'm not being super strict with the edge of the woods. I'm more worried about like movement through, the woods per se, rather than trying to be overly literal with the line of sight. Maybe that's, people wouldn't like that. Some people wouldn't like that, but that's how I'm going to do it. So, yep. So we got 12. So they're within range. So they're going to go ahead and fire. You're going to get +1, so 6. And since they are, I guess what would the category be for them? Like light cavalry, or like is dragoon yeah, dragoon, yeah, that is a category. So I don't think that there's a penalty for moving and firing for them. Shouldn't be, at least. Let's see if that's in the QRS. Let's see if that's in the QRS quickly. Does not say here. That's one of the things that's in the rules. Yeah, I think dragoons can move and shoot. That wouldn't make sense if they couldn't, right? So I'll go ahead and roll. So what did I say? They're going to get 6 shots. And but they are a small unit, so I'm going to take 1 away. Yeah, that would be fair, I think. It's only 2 stands compared to 3. Okay, so we got 2 hits. So these Spahi are going to be disordered, and they need to get a 3 or better or under. And they get a 5, so they take, and since that's 2 over, they're going to take 2 losses, so they're down to BBU of 3. And so now the one thing with doing that with these Haijuks is, you know, these dragoons can't quite get in there, but they might not need to. But I think that's all we can do for now. Well, I did forget to fire with these guys. I meant to do that because they moved. These skirmishers did move, so they're gonna roll. Let's see. They're within. So they're gonna get. Let's see. So they would get 5 shots normally, but they're small units. That would be put them down to 4 dice, I should say, not really shots, but 4. They moved, but they're skirmishers, so they can do that without penalty. And yeah, I think they'll get 4 shots. So let's see, one hit on the Sekbon that they're facing off against. So the Sekbon get a disorder marker, and so they need to get a let's see, their VBU for Sekbon, I said is 5, right? 4, so they need to get a 3 or below. And yep, so they're okay, but they are disordered. So, okay, now we can go ahead and roll up initiative again. Maybe the Ottomans will get some momentum back, we'll see. Yep, because the Hungarians got, let's see, that would be a 6. And yeah, okay, so it is the Ottoman turn now. And I think what they will do, I think I'll focus on this right flank to try and clear some of these disorder markers. So I'll go ahead and do that over here, and especially since the commander is in range, that can help. So over here we need they're B, so they need 4 or better. So they pass, getting a 4, so they're no longer disorder, but as I've said before, that means they can't do anything. And then we've got these Spahi here. They need a well, they're A, so I think that they pass, so they're no longer disordered. Okay, so that's that Ottoman turn. They can't really do much else because they had to clear those disorders, but it's probably good for them to do that. So that's 7 for the Hungarian initiative, and okay, Ottomans get initiative again, so we'll go ahead and run through that set of movements, and then I'll jump forward. Okay, so we had a pretty eventful Hungarian activation over here. So this battalion managed to, with the combined firepower from the mounted Haijuks and the dismounted ones, they were able to rout that Ottoman unit there in the center. And then over here, the other part of this battalion on that side was able to move up a little bit. I think they did shoot. I kind of forgot, but they did shoot, but to no effect, basically. Now that this does put them in a bad position, okay? You know, because they could get charged. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead but there's not a lot of room for for these guys. So we'll go ahead and do initiative, and we got 12 for the Ottomans with their bonus. And, oh, okay, same, so it's a tie. Actually, I could probably roll both at the same time because I'm using 2 different colors of dice. It took me long enough to realize that. Okay, so that'll be, all right, Hungarians win initiative again. So I think now we'll go to the center Hungarian battalion. They are going to fire with these muskets at this approach. Oh, sorry about that. They're going to fire with these muskets, these approaching Spahi. Okay, this little engagement allows me to attempt an opportunity charge on the part of this unit of cavalry. However, if they succeed, it's resolved after the fire of these musketeers. So 2, so they don't succeed, so they can't do an opportunity charge. So they remain stationary, and now we're going to have, since that pike and musket unit remained still, they can fire at full potential of 6 shots, 6 dice, I should say. Only 1 hit, so not too bad for these Spahi, but they are disordered again, and they are, okay, so they took 1 hit, so they need to do a cohesion check, and that's going to be, I think they need a 2 or below, VBU minus the damage, yeah, so plus modifiers. +1 if the damage shot came from a short distance. So that would mean that they would need, I don't understand if it's implying that they have a better chance of passing if the shot came from a short distance, because wouldn't you be in worse shape if, not sure. Okay, not quite sure what that means, but go ahead and roll. So it's going to be a, they only got 1 hit on them, so it's going to be a 2 or below. And they got a 1, so they succeeded, so they don't take any more permanent losses. But now these guys, no, actually, because they're not part of the middle battalion, they're part of that flank, the left flank, or I guess the Ottoman right flank, Hungarian units opposing them. So that's all the middle can do for now, and then we will continue. So yeah, so go ahead and do initiative, run through it again, and show you all what happened. All right, now continuing on with the game, let's go ahead and roll initiative again. That'll be 7 for the Ottomans and 9 for the Hungarians. And I think we can activate the Hungarian right flank. Yeah, because we did the center. And then, so I think what I'll do for the Hungarians is activate this unit of mounted Haijuks. But I think what I'll do, just to create some space, is they're going to, if they can, after they fire, I think they'll move and like kind of fall back a little bit. To check the rules about like about face and stuff like that, if that counts as so here we go, wheeling and other movements, about face. Okay, so what they'll have to do, I think, is they're going to have to discipline test to see if they can like also then move. So in Baroque, you can make multiple moves with a unit, but they just have to do a discipline test every time to see if they can pull it off. So yeah, so I think they'll just fire, but since they're a small unit, they're going to be at 4 dice instead of 5. But I think they'll get 1. They'll still get 1 because they are within musket. They're within 2, which I think, and let's see, that is, I think pretty sure that's over 6 centimeters. So slightly over, so they're just gonna roll, but they are within short range, so they're going to get 1, so it'll be 5. So they're going to get 5 dice shooting, and it's just 1 hit, 1 6. So, okay, so the Spahi will at least take accumulated disorder, and then they're going to have to do a cohesion check. So they're currently have to get a 2 or under, and they get a 5. So since that is 2 over their current VBU, they will take 2 casualties, so they're down to 1. And then actually I think that'll rout them, because with the accumulated disorder they would take an additional 1, so that unit is routed. So I think now, because the Ottoman right flank battalion is reduced to under half strength, I think we can now look at the broken battalion rules. Let's see, movement. I've got to go to the front. Cohesion, we need to look at routed units 2.5.2. So I think we might have to look at the victory conditions, because I don't think that the Hungarians have won just by breaking 1 battalion. General rule, okay. I may also be conflating these rules with pike and shot, because that there is like a broken battalion type of rule. Okay, I'll go ahead and check the rules, and then I'll resolve that and then return to the game. All right, well, I don't see anything in the rules that says that, like, if a battalion takes more casualties, then that battalion is fully removed from the game. So I'm just going to play on now. One thing, if you do play Baroque with the strict, like, victory points setup that they have, so in the rules as written, every unit is supposed to have a point value, and basically you add that up at the end to see, you know, what happens. We're playing more of like an objective-based game here, so I'm not really focusing on that, but yeah, so there's no route of these guys. They're just reduced to low strength. I guess I will briefly just mention, I brought this up in other videos I made about Baroque, is it's clear that they've tried to add some mechanics to this to make it more like a tournament type game, kind of along the lines of like a DBA or Art de la Guerre, something like that. I don't really care for that kind of thing, so that's why I've house ruled when I played this, because I'm not interested in that kind of like that type of technical, competitive oriented wargaming. But we can go ahead and see if these mounted hijinks can about face. So they have to do a discipline test, and on a 3 they succeed. So that's if they can just turn in good order. Now, if you fail the check to do this, they will be disordered. And then they can, yeah, and then they can discipline test again, I think, to see if they can get another move this turn, 6. So I think that means they can do it. So I think they're just gonna they're just going to fall back a little bit because I don't think that they want to be in range of a Ottoman charge. So I think they're just going to move 6, and then because they are dragoons, they're not like kind of strict, you know, like strict kind of maneuver cavalry. I think they're just going to kind of go like that to support these guys here, the dismounted guys over here. Well, not that you can see it, but like that. And then I think what this unit of other dragoons will do is they will move, let's see, I think they're going to actually try to get close. So they have 2 moves, or they can go 2 BUs forward. But actually, they might not be able to do that because, let me think, because then they would get, I think they would get kind of hung up on, okay, they can do this and then come up to the edge of the forest, I think. And then maybe they can do some longer range shooting against these Ottoman cavalry here. So let's check what they can, because they will, but I think these guys should have like arquebus type range instead of muskets like the Haijuks. So, uh-oh. Okay, so yeah, I think they'll just have more like an arquebus type range, which it'll be, so 6, 12, 18 would be 3. So they're gonna, I think they're just gonna get their base amount, and go over to the profile. So I think, yeah, they'll just get 5 shots or 5 dice. And that'll be 2. Oh, that'll just be 1 hit. So 1 double 5, so it's 1 hit. So that will disorder these guys, and then that'll put them down to, they'll have to roll 5 or under for cohesion. Yep, and they pass, so they're just disordered. Now I think they will, okay, now I think we'll roll initiative again. Well, just as a last thing, we'll just move this commander. Haven't really needed to use the commanders too much for clearing disorder other than that one instance. So all right, let's go ahead and roll initiative. We've got Hungarians get a 5. Ottomans will probably beat it, but oh, let's see, 3. Okay, they got the same result. All right, so let's go ahead and roll. Go and roll again. Okay, 6. That'll be 8 for the Ottomans, and Hungarians 12. Okay, so kind of a reverse from earlier in the day. The Hungarians have now regained the initiative. I think we can activate the middle column or the middle battalion, and I think I want them, I think it'd probably be a good idea for them to try to press forward. However, they are kind of caught slightly on this unit of cavalry, but that, you know what, it's like so slight, I'm not going to worry too much about that, because I'm just going to say that in my world, you know, it'd be one thing if they were like really hung up on them, but I'm not really overly concerned with kind of the precise geometry of maneuvers in this period, and especially this region. Got a cat ruckus in the background. Okay. But they will have to kind of pass through the forest here a little bit. But again, I'm not gonna worry too much about, it'd be like one half, like a little bit of the base would clip through that, so I'm not really gonna count that either, but they can only move so far anyway, so go ahead and we're only gonna be able to move 6 anyway. So move the pikes up first, and then I can move everybody else in. Oh, I forgot to paint around the bottom of these bases. I just noticed. That's okay. Fix that later. Yeah, I guess I just forgot to do it. Okay. Right. So we got those guys move, and then I think they're just going to go ahead and fire their muskets, and they're going to take, of course, a penalty for moving and then firing. So, and let's see, I think with muskets they are just out of close range, so they're going to fire off five dice instead of 6. And so it's 1 hit on the Spahi, so they will get accumulated disorder if nothing else. But now we got to roll cohesion, so they're going to roll 5 or better, 5 or under, so they succeed, but they're still reduced to 4, basically 4 dice from accumulated disorder. So I think I'm reflecting after playing this game a little while, I think in Baroque, you want to kind of, the accumulated disorder is pretty useful. And so I've noticed playing lately that even if you only have to roll even if you only get 1 shooting die to hit, that disorder is still useful. So there's kind of like a suppression mechanic, which was a factor in these kind of battles with these kind of matchlock period battles. And then I think these Transylvanian Lancers, I'm just gonna use for now, because until I can write up like a more serious Transylvanian list, I'm just gonna use the profile I made for the Panzerni, because they are armed and armored kind of similarly, so they can move 2. So they're gonna move, I think they will need to move kind of more close. So let's see, they're just gonna move 1 straight up. I don't think they're gonna be able to really charge, but maybe they're thinking they will kind of wait in reserve in case in case those infantry falter. All right, so I think that's all that middle rank can do. There's still that column of infantry in the back there, but they can't really do much right now. And if I form them into a firing line, I think they wouldn't really be able to have much room to move. So let's go ahead and do initiative again. So that's 11 and against 5. So the Hungarians win initiative again this turn. So I think we'll shift over to the flank over here on the left. These are there's a unit behind the camera, and I thought, what is this Ottoman unit? And I remembered that they're pretty sure they're casualties. Where are they? No, they're not casual. Okay. No, I don't think they're casualties. Now I can't remember. No, I think they are casualties. Yeah, they are, because they were part of that other battalion. Okay. So over here, I think since the Haijuks don't have a penalty for moving and firing, I think maybe they will move up a bit to get closer to the, I think what they'll do is move to face the musketeers. And then what these Ottoman cavalrymen will do is try to do a opportunity charge. So they're B class morale, so they're gonna need 4 or better. Yep, and they do make it, but I think that's going to allow these guys to also do defensive fire. So I think, let's see if they can. Did they get a? They got a 2, but I wonder if they get a bonus. +2 for all the units for defensive fire. So yeah, so they do succeed in defensive fire. So as the cavalry approach, they're going to fire off. But they did move, so I think they will still lose. They'll be at 4 dice. One. So they are disordered. And then they'll be down to, what did I say again for them? Okay, so they'll be at 4, so they gotta get a 4 under. Oh, okay, so they take 1 loss, and they are at, yeah, so they're down to 4 dice, and then they will fall back 1 distance to there. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, they might not be able to do defensive fire. Okay, well, the rules as written, it says to react with defensive fire, the target unit must be charged from the front. So it doesn't say. So because the Ottomans charged as a reaction to their movement, and the Hungarians are the active side this turn, or this, it's not really a turn exactly, but this cycle. So are they allowed to react to a reaction? For now, I'm gonna say yes, because just logically it makes sense that you could do that, because it's a defensive maneuver, and then, you know, I think that would be their move for that turn that they fired. So that's how I'm gonna handle it. You know, I was watching these series of videos about the 19th century game Strategos, and that was a real war game for the U.S. Army. I don't want to get on a tangent in the middle of battle report, but it had a lot of stuff like that for the game master, they called it referee. And I think, you know, I think that's with these war games, you need to have more room for that rather than, you know, As long as it's logical, you know, not like, yeah, anyway. All right, we'll play through. Now these guys, I think the only option for them is they have to move through this difficult terrain, this forest here. Now, well, they could move through their skirmisher friends. So I think that's what I'll do. That, you know, because they can kind of get out of the way. You know, they're not like in a line kind of formation. So, but I think they will just move 6, and then I think they'll get right up close, 12, and try to fire. It's going to give them 2 extra dice at point blank range. However, I think the Ottomans are going to try, but they already reacted this turn with a charge, and it did not work. And I think these musketeers here, because they are in a line formation, they're out of like a 45-degree angle, I think, of fire, so it's a little too far of an oblique to, yeah, okay, so they can't evade. All right. Okay, so they will get, for being point blank, they will get 2 extra dice, so they're already done. They have 5. They'll get 2 more. So that's quite a bit of shooting. Actually, no, but yeah, they're hijinks, so they have their muskets. Like I said before, they're probably in real life they would have like dismounted, fired, and then remounted or something. Or actually, I think I did see a depiction showed one of these kind of Hungarian soldiers firing from horse, but I gotta check again. Maybe I'm mixing something up in my mind. All right. Well, there's no real hits anyway, so and they would have lost one yeah, they would have lost one for moving. Well, no, they're dragoons, so that doesn't count. So they just didn't get any hits. All right, time for a new round, initiative round. So that's 10 for the Ottomans and 9 for the Hungarians. All right, so I think we'll stay over here. Okay, these guys are going to at least try to rally 4, and they are, I think, just check if they take another penalty. So they do need a 4+. Yeah, okay, so they are cleared of that disorder, so that's good, but they can't do anything else. And then I think all these Ottoman musketeers will do. I think they will. I think they'll just like use their move to kind of pivot on the corner slightly to face front, and then they're going to fire at these skirmishers. Now they will lose. So they did technically move slightly to pivot. So I think that does count as their move. And then I'm going to take -1 because they're firing at skirmishers, and they moved. And so wait, so they normally, gotta check the army list I wrote again. Okay, normally they're 4, you get 4 dice, so -1 for move, -1 for firing at skirmishers. So, but like I said, you know, they could get a hit and at least get some disorder. Nope, no, they got 2 4s, so just fire and nothing happens there. But at least that unit is not disordered. So let's go again and see what happens. Let's see, 11 for Ottomans, 11 for Hungarians, 12 for Ottomans. So back over here. Now, can these Ottomans charge through? Now, this one's a little different because they are trying to charge, and I think this would kind of clip a little bit through both. They did charge, I think, yeah, it would kind of, how do I want to do that? Because I don't want to be unfair to one side or the other, you know. Let's see. Well, maybe you can make a charge. We'll just say it would be a charge through difficult terrain, and I wonder if that's possible. So they might have to do a discipline test. Charge movement bonus. Modify. Actually, wait. Well, these guys can shoot, so maybe the better thing for them would be to just fire their bows into them, and yeah, I think they'll try to do. Whoops. I think they will. Sorry about that. A little bit of a action shot. So I think they will try to do that. That would be what, 12? So within the close range for an arquebus, which I'm counting just to make it better reflect kind of the Turkish skill with archery. So they're within 2, so it'll just be 0, and these guys can shoot. These guys get 6 dice, but since they do have lances, I'm going to say they can get, that would be a -1, so they're going to get 5 dice and 1 hit. Okay, so they're disordered, and then they're shooter. I'm just counting them as regular shooters, Polish infantry shooters, but they're Hungarians. And they should be at 4 because they're a small unit, so they'll be checking against 4. So they're going to need a 3 or below. Nope, and they are reduced to 1. So pretty good volley of arrows. So they're reduced to 1 from shooting. Pretty good. And then, oh, I guess they could have tested to do counterfire. Okay, do I want to do that? No, I think I'll just play through. Now, the Ottomans, can they make they charge through difficult terrain, movement. Charge bonus. And also, now that I'm looking at the quick QRS, when at the end of the turn the VDC detecting the VDs of the eliminated or exhausted units of that command reaches 0, they must perform a discipline test. If they fail, they are all eliminated. So I think with that right flank Ottoman command, they do need to do that. So I will do that in a second, but I'll resolve this. Now, I don't see right now if they, about the rules for charging through difficult terrain, but I will do, what I will say is, I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna say that they will lose their impetus bonus because they are kind of charging through, you know, between these forests, and we could say there's some kind of undergrowth or something. So they would get to be able to move at top speed, but they're gonna charge these infantry, but they do have to pass difficult terrain, so they're a little bit so. And also, unlike the dragoons, you know, they kind of need more open space to attack, so they're gonna roll 6, but they're just not gonna get their impetus bonus. So it'll be 1 hit and 2 hits. 2 hits on the Hungarian infantry. So they would still be routed by accumulated disorder anyway, they would, but they will do a cohesion check. So they're going to be at 1, so they need to get a 1. No, and yeah, they're routed. So that's the first Hungarian unit that's actually been routed, I think, this game. And then they would need to pursue these guys. So I think they will go in the pursuit table. How far? I mean, I guess if they're in difficult terrain, would they be able to pursue necessarily? I'm gonna say yes, just in this instance, so I can keep playing, but I'm gonna have to look more carefully at the rules. So 2, so they are fast mounted / gallopers, so they're just gonna, and it would just be 1 BU, and I think that would put them in collision with these guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and test discipline if these dragoons will just be able to evade. And 4, and yeah, I think they're gonna be able to evade. Now if they evade, I think, how far back can they, I think they should be able to move like their full distance, right? Evasion, 5 dots, 5. Evasion, oh, unit cannot evade in response to a pursuit, okay. All right, so they will just, all right, so I guess if they move like that, they're gonna move 1 BU, and yeah, I think it'll be kind of like that. So there will be a combat, but again, I think because they had to pass through difficult terrain, they're not going to get an impetus bonus. So that'll be, let's see, 1, 2, 3 hits, and these guys I don't think do that well in close combat. What did I? Yeah, 5. And I realize as I've been playing, I haven't really been keeping in mind that when they reach their kind of exhaustion point, no, don't shoot that flag, that they're supposed to, that they have penalties for a lot of these units. So, okay. They get 5, so I guess we could think that maybe they're gonna, well, they're small units, so I'm gonna take 1 away. And they get an impetus bonus of 2, but they've been, and since they're a smaller unit, yeah, I'm just gonna give them 4 dice. Kind of been making that up on the fly, but you know. All right, so that's 1 hit. So the Spahi are disordered. We could say that, you know, they did fire their arquebuses as they approached, but these guys are also disordered. And all right, time for cohesion tests. So that's 3 minus 4, so they need to get a 1. This might rout them. Yep, they fail. Well, no, that wouldn't rout them because they're at VBU value of 4. So they're gonna be reduced down to 2 dice. And then the Ottomans, they're at 6. They need to get a 5 or better, and they succeed. So they're just disordered. But I think, yeah, now these guys need to retreat. So since they lost the combat, so let's go ahead and roll on the retreat table. They're going to get a 4. They're dragoons, so I think they're not. I don't think they're slow mounted dragoons, so I guess they're just mounted. Yeah, so they fall back 2 BUs. So it'll be 12. And I think they still pursue. If I'm not mistaken, they are disordered, but I think they still pursue. So let's see. Oh, that's a 6. So pursuit. They're going to pursue 2. And I think that means that they will rout them by overtaking them. Pursuit, okay. All right, so I think that means that they just fight another combat, because I don't think they quite overtook them. They kind of met at about the same area. So I think we just fight another combat. So, but I think in this one they would get their impetus bonus because they're not, they're not like in a difficult terrain scenario. So they have impetus bonus, I think 3. Yeah, 3. So they're at, but they are disordered. So I gotta check if that makes an impact. All right. Flanker rear charge, loss of commander, pursuit. All right, I think they just fight another combat, so they're gonna get their 3 impetus bonus. That'll be 6, that'll be 9 dice, now that I remember from the other battle videos I've done recently from these rules. Well, no hits actually. They got no double 5s or 6s. These guys are gonna get 2 and an impetus. What did I say? 4. Yeah, so I'll get 4. No hits. So I guess they just stay locked in combat. Yeah, no hits and no accumulated disorder. So with that all set, I don't think these Ottomans want to charge. Well, no, yeah, I think the Ottoman commander will try to rally these guys, so we'll go ahead and do that. 2, nope, they actually don't succeed. Or, no, wait, they are in command range, so, and he's an average commander, so we're gonna roll 2 dice and whatever the highest one is. Yeah, so they're both 3s, so yeah, they're cleared of that disorder since their commander is right here to clear that. Now, the other unit might be out of command range, potentially, which could be interesting. Now, this other unit, I think now they have to test, and I may have to pay more attention to this point system in these rules because it's having to do this battalion test is kind of important for the rules. So go ahead and do that. And they survive. They got a 4, so they're still in the fight. I think though for this battle, I'm going to call it here because I think we've got, I think all things considered, at least for my purposes today, the Hungarians pretty much accomplished their objectives. Some of them at least, they inflicted pretty heavy losses on the Ottomans. And they did destroy almost one of the battalions. And, and also I don't want this video to be like 5 hours total. There's no need for that. So I think I'm just going to finish it up here. It was an interesting engagement. Now, I think there's potential that if I kept playing this, the Ottomans could win maybe, but they did lose one of their battalions. And that is a pretty big deal. Almost lost. That is a pretty big deal. But I think that they would not be able to just by volume of fire, they wouldn't survive much longer. Now the Hungarians still have this unit of lancers that was never committed, and another unit of infantry, musket infantry that could easily deploy and then fire. And then we've got this engagement over here, which while not finished is still kind of ongoing, but the Hungarians did eliminate one of the units from this battalion. So yeah, I think that's enough for now. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this battle interesting, and talk to you in the next one.